Hi everyone, here are 3 ways to make slime. So the first method uses glue, borax, and cornstarch. And you want to be a little bit careful with borax because it's a strong cleaner and it can irritate your skin. So you certainly don't want to touch the borax or touch the borax solution, and you certainly don't want to eat it either. But once it's mixed into the slime, you can touch it. So to start out with, I'm going to take a little bit of borax. So in this little cup, I have maybe 1/4 teaspoon of borax, and then I'm going to add water to that. And it won't all dissolve, but some of it will dissolve. So I stir that with the stick, and I have the borax water here. Now what I'm going to do in this little cup, I have some of the school glue, maybe about 1 ounce of that. And now to that, I'm going to pour in a little bit of the borax water, and then I'm going to stir it with the stick. And you can see that it's turned into this, it's turned into slime. So that's your slime right there. And you can see it has properties of a liquid, that it kind of flows off the stick, but it also has properties of a solid, that I can scoop it up and wrap it in a ball. And so it's kind of like a solid. And that has to do with the chemistry of the bonds in this polymer that we just made. So that's a slime. Now, you can play with it like this, or, it's a little too gooey for me, and so that's where the cornstarch comes in. So what I'm going to do is put some cornstarch on the plate. So here's the cornstarch. You could do it straight on the counter or on a plate. And now I'm going to wrap the slime up in a little ball, and I'm going to dip it in the cornstarch. And so this is making it more stiff and less gooey. And now I'm going to take my fingers, still pretty gooey, and start working it in the cornstarch, and I can make something a little bit more like Play-Doh out of it. So rolling it around in the cornstarch, and again, you can do more cornstarch, have it stiffer or less cornstarch. I think I want it more stiff, so I'm going to put some more cornstarch on it. And then you can squish it around in your fingers, and it actually changes the texture as you squish it around in your fingers. So get it a little bit thicker, and then I can do that. And it even can make something like a bouncy ball if you get it thick enough. So it can be slimy. I'm going to add some glitter just for fun, see what that looks like. So here's some glitter in it. Make it sparkly slime. I'm going to do some more cornstarch. And you can experiment with different amounts of borax water, different amounts of cornstarch, and see how you like it. So it's still not very much like a bouncy ball, but I think we could add more cornstarch and get it there. But I want to go on and show the other 2 methods as well. So that's the borax method. The next method uses, instead of borax, it uses contact lens solution and a little bit of baking soda, and still we have the glue and the cornstarch. So for this method, I have the glue in the cup, and this is contact solution with a little food coloring in it, so that'll give it a color, so that might be fun. So I'm going to pour in a little of the contact solution, and then I'm going to stir it. Oh, I need a little baking soda too. Let me do that. Just a little pinch of baking soda, so not very much. And it's getting a little bit like slime, but it still looks kind of like glue, so I'm going to add a little bit more of that contact solution. And now you can see it getting a little more slimy. I'm going to add a little more contact solution. So I'm not measuring, I'm just kind of playing with it as I go, looking at the different variations. Okay, and so now it's pretty sticky. So now it's the same idea. I can take this out of the cup, work it into cornstarch, and it'll be a little bit less sticky and can make it a little bit more like a ball. You can see this kind of slime going on to you. So let's see. Got it all gathered up here. Let's see if I can find a place on the plate. Add a little cornstarch. And this one, you can see how another property of the slime is if you stretch it slow and stretch long, but if you stretch it fast, it breaks. So interesting properties with slime. So this one is ready, and I can work it in my fingers as well. So it's fun to work it in your hands, but you want to be sure to wash your hands when you're done. And then the last method uses cornstarch and dish soap. So just cornstarch and dish soap. And this turns out with a little different texture. So in this cup I have cornstarch. And what I'm going to do is just add the dish soap to it. So here we go. Add a little dish soap and stir it. Need a lot more dish soap. And this turns out a little bit more pasty and a little less sticky, but it's got some of the same properties. So depending on what ingredients you have to work with, you can see that's turning out, as well. So I'm going to add a little more dish soap to it. And you get a slimy mixture with that as well. And depending on the color of your dish soap, you may have a different color of slime. And so there are 3 methods for making slime.